Good day, everyone. So today we're going to discuss about the simple and compound interest. So first, let us discuss the technical terms or the terms needed in simple and compound interest. The first one is the simple interest or a symbol of capital I sub S. It is an interest that is computed on the principal. The interest remains constant throughout the term. It means even though the term 3 years, the interest is the same. If the interest rate is 5%, so there's no need for you to worry about the increase of the rate. When we say simple interest, it is constant. Next, we have the lender or the creditor. It is the person or institution who invests the money or makes the funds available. So, these are the person who lend us the money. We call them the lender or the creditor. Next, we have the borrower or the debtor. It is a person or institution who owes the money or avails of the funds from the lender. So these are the person who borrowed money from the lender. Next, we have the origin or the loan date. It is the date on which the money is received by the borrower. It is the date where the signing of the contract, if there is, or it is the first day of giving the money to the borrower. Next, we have the repayment date or the maturity date. It is the date on which the money borrowed or loan is to be completely repaid. So this is the last day of your monthly amortization or monthly payment of your loan. Next is the time or term or small letter T. It is the amount of time in years the money is borrowed or invested. It is the length of time between the origin and maturity dates. So remember that the time or term is computed in years. So not in months, not in days, but in years. Next, we have the principal or capital P. So it is the amount of money borrowed or invested on the origin date. So it is the amount of money given or lent to the borrower on the origin date. Next, we have the rate or small letter R. It is the annual rate, usually in percent, charged by the lender or rate of increase of the investment. It is usually computed in or written in percent. Note that the word annual rate because the time or term is in years. That's why the rate is computed also by annually. Next, we have the interest. The interest is the amount paid or earned for the use of money. So this is computed by the interest multiplied by the rate, the principal, and the time. So the interest. Next, we have the maturity value or the future value. It is the amount after term years that the lender received from the borrower on the maturity date. So it means this is the amount of money after after the time or the term given to the lender or given by the lender to the borrower. Okay? So those are the technical terms that we may encounter during our discussion. All right? Next, Let's have the simple interest formula. So, in computing the simple interest, we're going to use the formula I sub S is equals to the principal times the rate times the term or time, or P times R times T. So, where I sub S is simple interest. P is the principal or amount invested or borrowed. R is the simple interest rate. And the T will be the term of time in years. Remember that, huh? The term or the T is term of time in years. Okay, let's have an example or the step in finding the simple interest. First, step 1, you're going to identify the given and the unknown. So suppose we have the principal 10,000 pesos and the rate is 10%. You're going to convert the 10% into decimal. So 10% in decimal is 0.1 or 0.1. And then we have the term or time. So suppose we have zero point 0.5 or 6 months. Since the term or time is computed in years, so if you're going to pay your loan in 6 months, you're going to divide 6 or going to divide 6 divided by 12. So 6 divided by 12 is 0.5. So the T in 6 months is 0.5. Now, in 1 year, the T is 1. If you're going to pay your loan within the 18 months, so 18 divided by 12 will be, or we have 1.5. So the T in 18 months is 1.5. Okay? And the unknown is the simple interest. So that will be the step 1. So you're going to identify the given and the unknown. Suppose we have the given PRT and the unknown is the simple interest. Next, we have the step 2. You're going to substitute the given to the formula. So I S is equals to P times R times T. So this is the formula. So we're going to substitute the value to the given formula. So we have for the 6 months, no? For the 6 months, so we have simple interest is equals to 10,000. So the P is 10,000. R is 0.1. And the T in 6 months is 0.5. Then, perform the operation. 10,000 times 0.1 is 1,000 times 0.5 is 500. So, for 6 months, the simple interest is 500 pesos. Next, let's have the for 1 year. So, substitute the given to the formula. Simple interest, P is 10,000, R is 0.1, and T is 1. Then, multiply 10,000 times 0.1 times 1. You can use the calculator if you wish to. Next, the answer is 1,000 pesos. So, the simple interest in the given for 1 year is 1,000 pesos. Next, we have for the 18 months. Again, substitute the value to the given formula. Simple interest is equals to 10,000, the P or the principal, times the rate, which is 0.1, and the time or term is 1.5. And then you're going to perform the operation. So 10,000 times 0.1 times 1.5, we will have 1,500 pesos. So the simple interest in 18 months is 1,500 pesos. Get it? Okay, next. We have example. Lorna doesn't have money on hand. She decided to borrow from a bank as the startup capital of 20,000 pesos at 5% simple interest rate, payable within 5 years. Compute for interest yield. So when we say interest yield, these are the principal plus the interest within the 5 years term. So let's have the solution. So look at the table. So time in T, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 years within 5 years. And then we have the principal, 20,000. And then interest rate, which is the 5%. And then the next column is the simple interest and the amount after years or maturity value. On the first year, so we have the 20,000. So the solution is 20,000 times 0.05. Where did we get the 0.05? We get it on the 5%. We change the 5% into decimal and we have 0.05. And then times 1, because of 1 year, we have 1,000. And then the interest in 1 year is 1,000. And the amount after a year, so we have 20,000 plus 1,000 interest is equals to 21,000. On the next year or second year, so same solution, we have 20,000 times 0.05 times 2 because of 2 years. So we have 2,000. So we have within 2 years, the 20,000 earned an interest of 2,000. And then to get the maturity value, so principal plus the interest, 20,000 plus 2,000, we have 22,000. Next, on the third year, so 20,000 times 0.05 times 3 is 3,000. Then the maturity value, principal plus the interest, 20,000 plus 3,000 is 23,000. Next, we have 20,000 times 0.05 times 4 for the fourth year is equals to 4,000. And then again, for the maturity value, principal plus the interest, which is 4,000, we have 24,000. So on the last year, which is the fifth year, so 20,000 times 0.05 times 5, we have the interest of 5,000. And then 20,000 plus 5,000, we have 25,000. So within the 5 years, the 20,000 pesos borrowed by Lorna will have an interest of 5,000. And then the interest yield for the 5 years term, we have 25,000 pesos. So that is how we compute the interest yield based on the term given in the problem. Okay po. Next, we have the compound interest or capital I sub C. So it is the interest computed on the principal and also on the accumulated past interest. So compound is interest is a way to earn money because you don't just earn using your original money, but also the interest you earn. So the computation of the interest is added to the principal, and then you're going to multiply it to the rate. And on the second year or third year, you're going to add again the interest on the second year to get the interest for the third year. To fully understand how we compute the compound interest, let's have an example. So Lorna doesn't have money on hand. This is the same problem on the simple interest. So Lorna doesn't have money on hand. She decided to borrow from a bank as the startup capital of 20,000 pesos at 5% interest rate compounded annually and payable within 5 years. So we're going to compute for the interest yield. So let us see. So we have here the table. So this is different from the simple interest table that we have discussed earlier. So on the first year, so 20,000 times 0.05, which is the 5% interest, times 1, no, times 1. So we have interest of 1,000 pesos. And then for the maturity value for the first year, principal plus the interest will have 21,000 pesos. Now, this is the difference between the simple and the compound. On the second year, the interest of 1,000 is added to the principal amount, and then that will be the next computation of your interest rate. So 21,000 times 0.05 times 1. So why 1? Because the interest of the first year is added to the principal amount on the second year. So there's no need for you to multiply the principal and the rate to 2 because you're going to start again the computation on the first year. Okay? So, we have 21,000 times 0.05 times 1. The interest on the second year will be 1,050. And then the principal is 21,000 on the second year plus the interest of 1,050. The maturity value of the money on the second year is 22,050 pesos. Now, this 22,050 will be the principal amount on the third year of the compounded annually. So we have 22,000 principal on the third year, multiply again to the 5% rate, and then times 1. So we have the interest of 1,102 and 50 cents. You can use a calculator if you cannot compute it manually. So 1,102 and 50 cents, sorry. So again, to get the maturity value, you're going to add the principal to the interest. So 22,050 plus 1,102 and 50 cents is equals to 23,152 pesos and 50 cents. So this 23,152 pesos and 50 cents will be the principal on the fourth year of the term. And then, again, you're going to multiply the new principal value to the rate, which is the 5%, and then times 1. And then we get an interest of 1,157.63. And then we're going to add it again to the principal. We will have 24,310 and 13 cents. And then that will be the principal amount on the last year of the term, or the fifth year of the term. Then you're going to multiply it again to the rate, which is 0.05, and then times 1. We will have an interest of 1,215.51. And then you're going to add it to the principal. We will have 25,525 pesos and 64 cents. So we have the interest yield in compounded annually, 25,525.64. So compound interest includes the interest from the current year and added on the principal at the start of the following year, which means that the previous interest earns interest as well, together with the principal until fully paid. So, the interest yielded on simple interest is lower than the compound interest. The amount at the end of 5 years in simple interest is only 25,000 pesos, while in compound interest it is 25,525 pesos and 64 cents. It is 525 pesos and 64 cents higher than the simple interest. Okay? Did you get it? The difference between the simple and the compound interest. Okay? The interest in compound interest is higher than the simple interest. Okay? So, remember that before you borrowed money, make sure that you know how to compute the interest rate of your lended money or your borrowed money. So, if you ask me what is the best interest rate, it should be in simple interest because the rate is constant or fixed. Okay? So, if you have more questions, just ask me. And that's all for today. Thank you and God bless.